He who has control over himself has control over the world, famously said by Seneca. And today, what I'm going to speak about is the element of control. How to take control of your current situation, how to take control of your life if you're not happy with your current situation and you've always wondered if you're capable, if you've got what it takes to get yourself out of your current situation and on the path to the life that you love. I will share with you the 4-step framework based off the things that I've done in the past. So a bit of backstory. My name is Brian. If you're new here, my name is Brian. I'm a real estate agent in Dubai, and a year and a half ago, I moved out of my hometown in Ireland. And a lot has happened for me over the last, let's say, 6 years since I was 18. If I look at the Brian when I was 18 and the Brian that I am today, is two completely different people. I finally took control of my current situation. I finally took control of my life. I understood that nobody was coming to save me, and it was up to me to determine the rest of my life. And that takes a lot of ownership, and it did for me. Now, that's not saying that I am where I want to be, but I am genuinely the most happy that I've been in my whole entire life. I'm the most settled. I'm the most focused. I'm the most confident in myself and my abilities. And it's by focusing on these 4 things and understanding that these are the things that will be able to get me to where I need to be. Whilst I am in the happiest moment of my life, I am more confident, I am focused. It's not taken away from the fact that I do want to achieve greater things in life. I understand that it's a long road. I understand it can take 10 and 20 years. I am comfortable with the fact. And what I'm trying to do is love the process every single day, every single week. And I'm blessed to have the life that I have currently. I'm proud, but I'm not satisfied. I won't be satisfied. And I still have as much drive as I did from day one. It's just more of a bit of a healthy drive than anything. So this video isn't for people who are happy in your current situation. If you are listening to this or you're watching this on YouTube and you're happy with your current situation, then you probably shouldn't keep listening. If you are interested in finding those 1%ers, taking yourself out of your current situation and putting yourself on the right track forward, then this video, this podcast is for you. The Playbook is the name of my channel. The Playbook is the name of the podcast. And what I want to create is a playbook for you to understand what it takes to unlock your true potential. And this is going to serve my past self. This is going to serve 18-year-old Brian who was insecure, not confident. I felt lost. I felt directionless. I didn't take any responsibility in life, and I didn't know what was out there for me. I didn't understand what it meant to be a man. I didn't understand masculinity and femininity. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. And I became the person that other people wanted me to be. I was way too adaptable. I was just people pleasing every single person that walked into my life. Anybody that showed me a bit of love, I was just pleasing them and sacrificing myself as a result. And I never want to do that again. And I want to help people like me, because I know there are people out there like I was at 18, young men, lost, directionless, feel like that you are capable of so much more, but you don't know where to start. You feel like you haven't taken any responsibility in your life. You have had no clear male role models. Potentially you might have had a father figure. It mightn't be the person that you want to be. You feel different from everybody else. You don't feel like you resonate with a lot of people. You feel alone. You feel isolated. Understand there are people out there like you. Understand that it is up to you. Nobody's going to save you, but you can create the future that you love. And I'm going to try and explore that idea over the next coming weeks and months throughout the podcast. Today, I just want to share with you 4 steps for you to understand your current situation and how to get out of there. I don't ask anything in return. I don't ask you to sign up to my program. I don't ask you to pay me. I'm not trying to sell you a course. I'm not trying to filter you into my brand. Nothing. I'm just trying to give to my younger self so he understands what is out there for him and how to orientate himself in order to get the things that he wants, that he desires, the things that deep down he knows that he wants, but he's just too afraid to say it to anybody. Step 1. Understand that you are where you are because of the choices that you made. Ownership is key here. You have to take responsibility of your current circumstances. You cannot blame your past experiences. You cannot blame your parents. You cannot blame the system. You cannot blame your teachers. You cannot blame your friends. You cannot say that the reason that you aren't where you need to be is because of X, Y, and Z. That's complete bullshit. You aren't where you need to be because of the choices that you made. I understand that people have had difficult upbringings. I understand that people come from bad environments. I understand that people have had bad luck. But how does that serve you to keep blaming those things, keep pointing to those as reasons as to why you aren't where you need to be? You cannot control those things. You cannot control the past. You cannot change the past. You can control the present moment, the now, how you feel, and understanding and taking ownership of where you are is the first step of you getting out of your current situation. I have had a difficult past. I have had things happen to me that people would point to that and call it quote unquote trauma. I don't view it the same way. I don't attach with that. And anytime that somebody tries to fit me into their box of how a boy should turn out after that previous experience, it absolutely fills me with rage. I've spoke about this on previous episodes of the podcast, but when people feel pity for me, when people have congratulated me with a backhanded compliment of, oh, you know, you've done very well considering. Considering what? Stop attaching my past life with me. Stop attaching my previous events with me. Stop feeling sorry for me, because that is not going to do anything for me. I'm going to prove you wrong, because you are not fitting me in your box of what somebody should turn out after having that event or having that past. It is up to you to control and to understand and to take ownership of that. Once you take ownership of your current situation, then you can take step 2. Step 2 is understanding that nobody is coming to save you. It is completely up to you here. Nobody gives handouts to people in this life. Everybody is so focused on their own thing that nobody is going to get you from where you are to where you need to be. And anyways, even if they tried, you would reject their help. I have found this so many times. You can only bring somebody as far as they need to go. It is up to them to take the next step. Like, I have tried so much in the past to try and help people, help my friends, help others in a difficult situation that have negative habits, negative behaviors. They speak negatively towards themselves. They're not squeezing the most out of life, and I'm trying to help them, but I cannot. I can't. You can only bring a horse to water. You cannot force it to drink. And what that means is that it's completely up to you. No amount of motivational TikToks, no amount of motivational videos or YouTubes or whatever it may be is going to get you from where you are, from where you need to go. It is completely up to you. Nobody is going to save you. You have to take extreme ownership, and you have to take some fucking responsibility for yourself. It's the one thing that I'm seeing reoccurring is the lack of responsibility men are taking in this life. Maybe it's just Dubai, but I'm seeing the negative consequences of men not taking responsibility, and it breaks my heart, to be honest. Men that are lost, directionless, boys, I can't even call them men, lost in the city, thinking that someone's going to save them. They're not. It's completely up to you here. Step 3 is you have to define the things that are inside and outside of your control. I've touched on this in the past. I've touched on this in the previous video, but I'm going to speak about it again. Because for me, it's been one of the most fundamental changes of my thinking over the past few years. The second I realized that there are things in my control and things outside of my control, I completely forget the other things. Now, I'm not perfect. There are times where I get frustrated at external events, but it's a work in progress. Once you are aware of the thing continually and repping that out, then you are on the right path. So, for example, things that are not in your control, the weather, the economy, how people perceive you, what people think of you, other people's emotions, how others act, why somebody might have done a wrong deed or spoke about you or did whatever behind your back. Those are the things that aren't in your control. The future is not in your control. The past is not in your control. What is in your control is your perception of events. What is in your control is your emotions. What is in your control is how you perceive how people speak to you. What isn't in your control is the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you speak to others, the way that you view your life, the way that you view your emotions. Detaching from the past, that is completely up to you. That is in your control. So understanding that is understand there are only a few things that you can control. Whenever I'm faced with something that is difficult, I remind myself that the thing in itself is not difficult. It's how I react to it. It doesn't exist outside of my perception. This thing right in front of me that is causing me so much pain does not exist when I stop perceiving it. So it's how you perceive events is that gives it the life. If you're in an argument with somebody, your friend, your colleague, your spouse, the emotion that you attach with it, how you perceive the things that they say, that can just add fuel to the fire. That makes something that was so small and minute into this massive, massive thing. And the only thing that has gotten it from X to Y is your head, is your emotions, is how you're perceiving it. But if you just chose to perceive the events differently, if you just flipped it and decided that I'm not going to perceive this negatively, I'm not going to let these emotions control how I'm feeling. It's something that I struggle with still at the same time. I mean, I find it so, I'm constantly making enemies out of people within my given industry, within real estate. It helps me motivate myself even more to do the thing, to beat them. Even though I know deep down that I am giving this person control over how I feel. This person does not even know me. They might not even know me, and I'm thinking about them every single day. They've got complete control over how I feel. They've got complete control over what I do. I do things just to beat them. Meanwhile, they're living in their own world. They don't even understand or acknowledge that I exist. They mightn't even know me. It's something that I'm working on in progress. But the first step is being aware of it, of understanding that there are things within my control and things that are not within my control. Focus on the things that are in your control and just fuck the rest. Forget it. Forget about the rest for the time being. The most important thing is that you need to focus on what's in your control. You need to focus on what you're feeling. You need to focus on what you're saying. You need to focus on what you're doing. Step 4. Begin working on yourself. Begin working on yourself, and in this order specifically. There are 3 buckets in my life. 3 buckets that every man should be looking to fill. One isn't greater than the other. I think there is a path, though. It's something that I've been speaking about a lot. And 2 are definitely measurable metrics. The 3 buckets are your physical, intellectual, and emotional. I think this is kind of the hierarchy of importance to begin with. I think first you need to address how you are physically. How are you feeling physically? How are you looking physically? And taking ownership around it. Okay, I'm not looking the way I want to look. I'm overweight. I've built no muscle. I can't do any difficult things. If you asked me to run a 5K or 10K tomorrow, I wouldn't be able. I get out of breath going upstairs. Those things. You need to take ownership of that. Because it's your fault. It's whatever you done last week. It's whatever you done last month. It's whatever you did or did not do last year. Going into the physical is you need to take a look at yourself in the mirror. Am I happy with how I look? Am I afraid when I stand on the scales? Am I intimidated by people who are asking me to go for a run at the weekend? Am I uncomfortable in my own clothes? Am I pulling my t-shirt? Am I wearing clothes that are oversized just to hide my stomach? The basics, the complete basics. Am I ashamed of how skinny I am? I came from a place that I was completely overweight. When I first started going to the gym, I started going to the gym when I was 17. I had played sports all my life and sports wasn't for me. I was so self-conscious. I remember in the changing rooms after games and before training, I would hide my body when I was getting changed into the jersey. I would take off my jersey, I would face the wall, and I'd put the other jersey over my stomach and my body so nobody could see me. And it was difficult. So fucking difficult growing up like that. It was only when I took some ownership of it when I was 17. I was 110 kilos. Never had set foot in the gym and I was 110 kg at 17. And it's difficult. That's why when I see guys that are overweight that were my age, it breaks my heart. Because it's not going to take a lot for you to get from where you are to from where you need to be. So if you are somebody that is struggling like that, you need to focus on your physical self. You need to get into the gym. It's part and parcel of every man's life. It should be. You should be in the gym. You should be doing some weight training. You also need to be doing some cardio activities, whatever that looks like for you, so be it. Make it something that you love. A run, a cycle, a swim, fucking paddle tennis, football, whatever it may be. You have to be entering into high heart rate zones at least twice per week. At the moment, for me, I am in the gym and I'm running. I do a total of 4 gym sessions, 2 upper body sessions, 2 lower body sessions. Then I do a speed work running session, a tempo running session, off-feet conditioning, a 5K run club, and a long run. That is 5 days of cardio activity and then 4 days in the gym. I would have thought that was a lot of volume in my bodybuilding days, but it's not. I just double up on sessions. I'm not saying that that's what you have to do, but you have to start seriously looking at your physical self. It's the one that I put a lot of priority into over the last few years, and it took a while for me to get to where I needed to be because the first year was all bodybuilding. I was doing ridiculous diets, I was cutting, I was bulking, I was doing keto, I was doing fucking bicep curls only in the gym. I was spending 2 hours doing a chest day that was not getting me any fucking rewards whatsoever. I found the most reward from taking on difficult physical activities. So this was a 10K, this is a half marathon or a marathon, or those are the things for me that they're scary enough for me to take on, but I know that if I do the right things that I will get them done, I will get over it. And the amount of confidence that's built within me and the amount of passion that is given me for my physical self is just second to none. So that's the first bucket, physical. And that speaks for itself. I find when I was filling my physical bucket, I started leaning into the other two buckets. The second is the intellectual. So you need to follow your natural curiosity. You need to learn new skills. You need to delve into domains that you're not familiar with, but you might be curious about. Read books, listen to podcasts, filter out the noise, delete TikTok. Don't look at Instagram Reels. The way that I filter my Instagram now is if I see a post from somebody, I say, does this make me laugh? Do I plan on seeing this person in the next 6 months? And if the answer is no, then I just block them. I just hide them from Instagram. I might unfollow them if I don't know them anymore. I don't really fucking care. They probably just don't even think about me. They probably don't even know me. We don't even know each other anymore. I'm never going to see the person again. But even still, I mean, I've unfollowed all the meme pages, the news websites, the bodybuilders, whatever. Like, it's just pointless, meaningless shit. My filter is only specific to my intellectual mind. And what I mean by that drip feeding from the physical, when I started trying to improve myself physically, I was looking at other aspects within me that I could also improve. So this is my mind. So if I'm on a run, I listen to a podcast. If I am training, then I might watch a YouTube video about marathon prep or high rocks or hybrid training or whatever it may be. Just following my natural curiosity because of the way that I treat my physical body. And for me, it's absolutely massive. It's following my natural curiosity. I never want to be stagnant in my life. I never want to be stagnant. I never want to be not learning about the things that I'm naturally curious about. For me, that is psychology. For me, that is business. For me, that is training and nutrition. Not as much training and nutrition, but the first two, definitely. I'm looking at books here that are across my room, and The Art of Persuasion, Surrounded by Idiots, The Power of Now, Diary of a CEO, Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life, The Hard Thing About Hard Things, $50 million Offers, Give and Take, Seneca's book, Letters to Lucilius. You get the idea. I mean, it's just the things that I'm naturally curious about. It's not the things that I prescribe for everybody. Just read the fuck what you want. It could be fiction, it could be non-fiction. Do what you like. The third bucket for me is the emotional. I think the emotional can only come after you've tested yourself in the first two. Your emotional intelligence, your emotional bucket is something that is unseen, to be honest. I mean, your physical body, you can see a before and after. You can see the decrease or the increase on the scales. You've got a clear photo of before you started going to the gym and after. You've got clear trackable metrics of when you started running and where you are now. With your intellectual, you can, I mean, if you're taking tests, if you're reading books, I started the book, I finished the book, I started the podcast, I finished the podcast, I can talk about more ideas. Your emotional, it's more of an unseen metric. It's only something that you can look back in at hindsight and be like, I feel different. I feel like I'm viewing myself differently. But you're not fully sure about how you used to view yourself because you've got no capture of that. And that's why I've done the podcast. That's why I do these videos. Is that in a year's time, if I look back on this and think, God, I was just talking bullshit there. God, I was speaking so badly about myself. I was telling myself stories that didn't serve me. For me, that's what it is. And for me, it's journaling as well. I can flick back on my journal and be like, okay, this is what I was struggling through. I've got a daily journal that I do in the morning and evening, and then I've got something that I use for when I'm going through difficult periods. So, for example, the other day I felt quite anxious. I wasn't sure if I wanted to say yes or no to social events. I took some time to journal. I timestamped it. It's there. I felt a lot better after. I built out a framework of what to do when I'm feeling uncertain, what to do when I'm feeling anxious, and I've got that knot in my stomach and I don't know why. So I've built out a framework of what I need to do every time that I feel that. And I'll be able to look back in a year's time when I'm reading through it at the end of the year, whatever it may be, and be like, okay, I was struggling with this, I was struggling with that. That is so unimportant now. I don't speak to myself like that. I don't deal with the anxiety like that. I don't get that any longer. I've completely detached from that mode of thinking. It doesn't serve me. But the way that you improve your emotional being, your mental well-being, is by connecting with others. It's by opening up. It's by beginning a meditation, a ritual practice that forces you to self-reflect. Begin journaling. Notice your thoughts and your emotions as they arise. And just as I said, if you go into a negative spiral of thinking, sit back and journal about it. I'm not prescribing meditation for everybody. I'm not prescribing breathwork. Meditation is a broad concept. You need to find the source of meditation that actually you enjoy the most. For me, it's just 10 minutes every single morning. For me, it's connecting with others and opening up. Saying how I'm feeling and not caring about what people think. It's by having a group of good friends, good guy friends, that I can speak my mind without fear of judgment. Because you should never fear judgment with your friends, with your close friends. Yes, they might not agree with what you're saying, but you're not afraid of saying it. You shouldn't be afraid about opening up if you're going through a difficult period. I had someone call me last week and said, I don't want to sound like a faggot, but I'm going through a difficult period. Like, why are we labeling that as feminine? Why are we labeling that as feminine? People go through difficult periods. How is it not masculine to speak about it? Why are we saying that we're homosexual just by you going through a difficult period? I understand it's people, how they were brought up in their past. I understand that it might be the way that their parents might have viewed these emotional situations. But you are aware of it. You need to take stock. You need to become self-reflective and open up with the right people when needs be. The most transformative process that I have done is by going to a men's circle, by being surrounded by other men, by opening up about how I am, checking in how I am physically, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, and socially. Those are the things that we speak about, and I check in on how I'm feeling, speaking to other men about that with no fear of judgment, being completely vulnerable. Because I guarantee that the second that I finish speaking, they'll have already stopped thinking about me and they're thinking about their own problems, just like I'm thinking about my problem. And I don't remember the time that somebody could have opened up about something that they're really shameful of. It's just opening up, just breaking that chest of the things that you're most afraid of, the version of you that you're afraid to show the world. Don't be afraid. You need to open up, but open up with the right people. So those are the 4 steps with emphasis on the last one. It's really, really important. If you're thinking that this feels like a lot, it sounds like a lot, opening up to others is something that you're not familiar with or you haven't done. You feel like that the mountain is too big to climb. Then focus on what you can control. Focus on the physical first. There's not a lot of barriers to entry there. And then the rest, take it one by one, because if you go from 0 to 100, you won't be able to sustain 100. If I asked you to live my life the way that I currently do, then it might not be sustainable for some people. It might be for others. It might not be for some others. So it's really important to follow that 4-step framework exactly how I outlined it, and focus on the physical first. If you are listening to this and it does resonate with you, then you're in the right place. Then I am a person that you can open up with, and I am a person that you can do some difficult physical activities with. I'm going to be starting within the playbook something different. So obviously, we have the run club every single Saturday. A group of people, mixed men and women, meet up, go for a 5K, a chit chat, a coffee, light and breezy, getting to know everybody. And I want to do something specifically for men because I want to be there for my previous self. I know that there's guys out there like me. I know that there's so many lost boys, not sure where they need to go and where to start. I will be doing a men's only run club. I aim to do this really early in the morning, midweek, followed by a meditation and potentially a sharing circle. Really excited for this. If you're in Dubai, if this resonates with you, then this is for you. If you're a man, this is for you. I want to create a safe space for men to open up and feel what they're feeling, say what they're feeling, do difficult things with other men, and self-reflect. So I hope to do this very soon. To keep full updates of this, just follow the playbook on Instagram. You'll find all the updates there. Or you could message me privately and I will send you across the details. I don't want it to be a massive group. I don't want it to be 100 or 200 men. I just want a core group of guys who want to find those 1%ers, who feel alone, who feel isolated, who feel like they lack direction, that they feel like they're lost, that nobody's really like them. When there are people like you in Dubai, there are people like you out there in the world. So yeah, keep updated on the Instagram. An announcement should be released very shortly. But yeah, a massive thank you if you've listened or watched this far. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next one.